All right, here we are, part two. Let's talk about the other service that's been added to Ouro recently. This is StabilityAI's API for image generation and image-to-image translation. In their suite of products, they also are working on video and 3D and audio and language. But for this initial set of services, we've just focused on the image domain. So in this set of routes that you're able to use now, we have stable diffusion, image generation, and a couple other variations on that model that vary in price and quality. And then what I'll show in this next example is image-to-image routes, which are really cool to play around with. These models, they maintain the original form of that reference image that you give it, and through a prompt are able to generate something completely new. So let's take a look and see what that looks like to use on Ouro. What I want to try here is bringing to life something that just doesn't exist. A new kind of surfboard, let's say. This is, I think, one of the good uses for this model, where maybe you're brainstorming ideas for a new product or something you want to create in the real world, but you need to be able to see it first before you can do that. Or you want to try out different ideas and see what just feels right. So I'm going to start off with just this rough contour of the board that we want to make. And so we kind of have like a side-on view here. Let's actually even like draw it on the wave maybe too. And we could really get to see what it looks like in where it would actually be, right? Maybe we'll throw a guy on the surfboard as well. So you can see the extent of my artistic ability. I don't even know why I'm trying to go just like that. I should have just done a stick figure, but it's going to do just fine, and it'll be able to turn it into something pretty great. So let's actually say this is a small wave day and we need a little extra power on our board. That was not the case this morning, but one way to do that, one way to add a little bit more power is to strap some rockets onto the back of this thing. So it's going to look a little something like that with our rocket blast out the back, and let's do another one on the other side. And then rockets out the back. And it makes sense now that this board is looking like it's flying upwards. So now that we've made our sketch, let's bring it onto the platform and use it with this route. So the first thing we'll want to do is go to the earth layer and add earth, where we can upload a screenshot of our rough sketch. Once you've done that, you'll be navigated to the asset page, where you're seeing that we're actually getting recommended the route that we want to use. This is because Ouro understands that this is an image, and it knows what routes have certain expectations for inputs. In this case, our image-to-image route knows if you have an image, you can use it with this route. So let's do that here. And we've now included the board sketch with it, but it also is asking for some additional configuration. It needs to know through this prompt what you want to see in the final image. So in this case, we're looking for a surfer getting barreled on an experimental surfboard with rockets attached to the back. And control strength is that parameter I was talking about earlier, where you can tell the model to have a little less weight on the initial sketch. So this works pretty well if what you've made is really kind of hard to translate into something realistic. By turning this down, let's try 0.5. The default is 0.7. You can go all the way up to 1 or down to 0. But that should help us get something that looks a little bit more cohesive. You have to do your own experimentation with this too. You'll find that some things work better than others. And I haven't really played around with negative prompts quite yet, but I imagine if you get sort of stuck in a place where the images that are being generated have things that just don't make sense, you can try and remove them with the negative prompt. So here it is. This looks pretty cool. You can see it got the idea of the wave kind of overhead and our surfer on the surfboard. But this is kind of a common theme I've been seeing for my rocket motors. Just it didn't know what they were, and it didn't know how to translate those into real rocket motors. We can see the original reference here. You can tell it's it's hard to draw that conclusion. Through the prompt, I was hoping they would be able to catch that, but alas. It definitely got the surfer. Like you can see just the form of things, how well it represents it. All the way down to even like the shape of the board and the form of the surfer. So pretty cool. And that's it. Give it a shot. Thanks, guys.